You all saw the chimney go up shortly before Christmas. That was necessary because as you do construction, you must keep it very safe. When you're constructing that chimney, you can't have anything within a 100-foot radius in case something were to fall off that chimney. So we needed to clear that land first, build the chimney first, so that we could then do construction around the chimney area. In March, we were very proud to announce that we had achieved our 1 millionth safe man-hour of construction with no lost time accidents. Dominion and Shaw take safety very, very seriously. We want our folks to go home safely each day from work, and we want folks from your community who are working on this project to go home safely to their family every day working on this project. The first boiler steel was placed about a week ago on this project, and you will see rapid changes in that site over the next 6 to 9 months. All the steel will be up in the boiler by the beginning of next year, and that large tower crane you see on site is what's going to be putting that steel up. There are about 500 to 600 folks on site right now. We're currently at about 40% local employment. By the time frame that I mentioned, we will have approximately 1,500 people on site working on the project, and then we'll ramp down from there. So we're happy that we've had an impact on the local economy, and we'll continue to do so. And we look forward to working with you on these conservation and renewable efforts in the future as well. I'm happy to take any questions. Thanks for your time. Jack?
I have been to the West Virginia site. I'm all for them. They're aesthetically pleasing, and they're very hypnotic, this wind farm. So I'm sold in that direction. I do have one question. Politically speaking, the gubernatorial candidates, leading politicians in Virginia are saying windmills offshore. Why here? Why did Dominion come here first? There's bound to be an economic reason in doing so.
Yeah, offshore wind has not been developed in the U.S. yet. It has been done in Europe. Europe has much larger costs for their power than we do here in the U.S. Offshore wind turbines, if you think about oil and gas production, you need the equivalent of an oil and gas rig as your base for the wind turbine. That costs a whole lot of money. You have a lot of issues with the transmission. More than likely, you're going to have to put it under the ocean to get it back to the customers. That not only has huge cost impact, but it has a lot of impact on endangered species that we would have to avoid going through. So offshore wind, we're watching very closely in the Delaware region. There's a company called Blue Water that is working with Delmarva Power to try to develop one of the first offshore wind farms. Of course, if you've been following anything in Massachusetts, the first offshore wind farm that was proposed was off of Cape May, and off of Martha's Vineyard up there in Massachusetts, and has been violently opposed by the folks in Martha's Vineyard. So there are pretty serious political and economic issues to doing offshore wind. Onshore wind, ridgeline wind farms are very well proven. We're seeing increases in technology, and we're seeing that to be the most successful route. And Wise County, Tazewell County, we've seen as the best wind profiles in Virginia. That's why we're here. Thanks for your question. Yes, sir, in the back here.
Have you done any investigating about taking the waste energy and the carbon dioxide from St. Paul and using it to raise blue-green algae that can produce alcohol or fatty acids for biodiesel? And we wouldn't have to worry about CO2 emissions and burying it in the ground. And likewise, building greenhouses use waste energy and the CO2.
Thank you for your question. The question regards algae and its use in capturing CO2. That is in the early stages of R&D. We actually have a facility located at our coal plant in Massachusetts called Great Point Energy that is exploring this, and we're working in partnership with them. We have seen that it's going to take quite a bit of land space to use algae to capture CO2, but it is one of many technologies that are being explored right now for potential CO2 capture. Another gentleman here had a question.
Yes, I'm an MIT graduate, and I don't think the meteorology department at MIT has ever bought into global warming. As far as they're concerned, it's still a premise. I'd like to get your opinion, both your own personal opinion as well as Dominion's, as far as whether you think global warming is actually occurring. And then to what extent is greenhouse gas emissions causing global warming? And then of the greenhouse gas emissions that are being created, how much is man-made?
Well, sir, I like being employed, so I think I'm going to give a opinion. I will tell you that Dominion is actively involved in the debate on Capitol Hill right now. Dominion supports EEI's position that cap and trade, if passed, must be economy-wide, as the congressman was talking about. The electric industry cannot be targeted. There must be what is called a safety valve on CO2 pricing so that we don't see costs run through the roof and damage the economy. So we're very actively involved. We think that the allowances must be given to those who have spent the capital to put these facilities in place, which means not auctioning off 100% of these allowances. The allowances need to be available to those who are involved in the industry. So I can only tell you that we're not debating the science anymore. If you look at what happened with the Clean Air Act in 1990, there were still some scientific studies that showed that acid rain may or may not be happening from power plants. Could have been coming from other regions. But the scientific debate was over. The political debate was where the action was. The political debate is where the action is now. And we're trying to stay very much involved so that what is passed does not damage the U.S. economy, and what is passed makes sure that we hold other countries accountable, such as China, who are putting up a coal plant a week, because after all, this is global warming and must be addressed globally. Other questions? Thank you very much for your time.
Greetings, honored guests. My name is Simonetta Simmons, and I am a senior here at the college. I know that many of you are attuned to the importance of energy technology. This is why we are all here today, I assume. The man I'll be introducing today also understands the significance of this and has taken steps to ensure further advancement in his respective field. Mr. Titmus holds a BSCE degree from the University of Akron in Ohio. He began his career in consulting engineering in 1963 in municipal electric power generation, including rate analysis and thermal mass balance, to name a few of his many great accomplishments. During his career, he has led responsibility in over 800 projects spanning 24 states and 19 foreign countries. Mr. Titmus has authored engineering design and zoning standards, as well as portions of national building codes. For the first 30 years of his career, his focus was on engineering problems, troubleshooting, maintenance programs, and distressed plant efficacy improvements. He is currently in his 52nd year of work in civil engineering, in